Ever wondered about the true owners of the land we walk on? In a world where boundaries continuously change, the claims of indigenous people to their age-old lands often spark disputes. This was prominently displayed in recent landmark case in Brazil. The Xoklang community, nestled in South America's heartland, has been locked in a significant legal battle to recover their ancestral territories. These fertile grounds, still vivid in the elders' memories, were taken over by tobacco farmers back in the 1950s. More than 100 years ago, the Xoklang were forced out of their hunting lands to accommodate European settlers. Ever since, the Xoklang have been striving to uphold their rights, their traditions, and their very selfhood. The Supreme Court of Brazil was asked to decide on a crucial matter, whether the state government's interpretation of indigenous rights was too narrow. This interpretation only recognized tribal lands occupied at the time of Brazil's constitution ratification in 1988. A ruling in favor of the Xoklang could potentially change the course of history for indigenous land claims, not just in Brazil, but around the world. And so the court convened, and the world watched with bated breath. As the proceedings unfolded, the indigenous people gathered outside, their future hanging in the balance. The government argued that their time framework provided legal security for farmers, but the indigenous people knew that their very existence was at stake. Then, the verdict was delivered. The court ruled in favor of the Xoklang people, rejecting the efforts to restrict their rights to their ancestral lands. This landmark decision set a precedent for hundreds of indigenous land claims. It was a victory celebrated with tears of joy by indigenous groups across the country. In summary, the court's decision has far-reaching implications. It challenges the legal argument known as marco temporal, which required indigenous groups to prove they lived on the land when the Brazilian Constitution was signed in 1988. This decision has opened the doors for other indigenous groups to challenge similar land disputes. It's a beacon of hope, a signal that indigenous rights are not forgotten, but are recognized and respected. So the next time you walk on a piece of land, remember the Xoklang people and their historic victory. Remember that the land beneath our feet carries stories of struggle, resilience, and triumph. And most importantly, remember that the fight for indigenous rights is a fight for justice, for culture, and for our shared human heritage.